All right, so I guess I'll try to do this live along the way. I'm about a little bit south of Fresno, about 3 hours to go to home, and I've been on the road for now like 5.5 hours. So did one pit stop. Anyway, so I want to have some. So I Sunday night, I grabbed my bags at 10 p.m. I just come back from San Francisco. This is backstory. Just impulsive, spur of the moment, tossed them in the car, drove all night down to Oceanside to visit B and the doggies. I mean, I know people have a wonder, like, you guys are getting a divorce, so how does that really work? Well, I'll save that for another thing. It works, right? We had a great time. Not a five days, not one single cross word said to each other. So I'll explain how that works in some other installment. I might do more videos. Who knows? We'll see. If people like it, I'll maybe do more. Anyway, so let's talk about the big elephant in the room, the Kavenaugh hearings. So, you know, it's been with us for a few weeks, but I just spent a lot of the time, you know, other than spending time with doggies, I spent a lot of the time just laughing. And that's kind of why I wanted to do a video, because I find this very humorous. I mean, for so long in my Facebook posts, I've said, like, when does the shooting start and everything. I'm starting to change my view on that because it's getting so obviously ridiculous. Plus, the milquetoast rhinos seem to be growing a pair. I guess it took Trump. So, if Republicans, you know, you can have your opinions about Republican power, and people are out there, well, like, Kavenaugh is you know, he's not strong on Fourth Amendment protections and everything. I'm like, look, he's replacing Kennedy. It's a push. It's one mainstream R with another mainstream R. Like, let it go. It's a push. I mean, this is the part of the deal is that the Democrat constituency is so stupid that they had that the elites were able to kind of create the impression that this was some watershed event. It's nothing. It's a push. Kennedy for Kavenaugh, same deal, probably. Kavenaugh clerked for Kennedy, right? But Democrats are stupid, so of course it's like the biggest event in the world, and that's why I laugh, because it's so laughable. It is so laughable to get a spectacle in front of your face for how stupid the Democrat constituency is, and rightfully the elitist politicians take their constituency for a bunch of stupid morons, and they're right about that. They're completely right about it. That's the funny thing. It's hilarious. So if the milquetoast rhinos, going back to 1994, midterms in Clinton's first term, when, you know, it was a big rout for Republicans in both House and Senate. Huge. It was enormous, right? And then what did they talk about? Prayer in schools, right? Limptic. And they've always been limptics, right? And now they're starting to see, because of Trump, it's like, hey, we can ignore the BS, laugh about the BS, and then just go on about, say, you're dismissed, and go on about our merry way. You can do it because the Democrats really, with this thing, they went all in with Kavenaugh. They went all in, right? And exposed themselves as, you know, Democrats are not going to admit, yeah, we're the evil party. I mean, they are evil, right? But now they've exposed themselves to more mainstream family values, at least conservative, somewhat conservative on family values and religion and stuff. Still tons of Democrat Catholics, right? They've exposed themselves as like really, really stupid with this ridiculous campaign with Kavenaugh. Anyway, so another point is the I use a quote, one of my favorite quotes, journalist back in the 30s, H.L. Mencken. One of my favorite quotes. He said, it goes that the whole aim of practical politics is to keep the populace alarmed and hence clamorous to be led to safety by menacing it with an endless series of hobgoblins, all of them imaginary, right? So that's what we're seeing, and it's kind of a Chicken Little thing. Now, to go back in my own personal history, I grew up in the fundamentalist Baptist realm in the 70s, about 6 years, probably from about 1975, 76 to 81, 82. So I was steeped in church and school, both church and school, in the fundamentalist Baptist realm. And this is the age of the moral majority, and you had lots of televangelists at the time, but they weren't the obvious money grubbers that you see today that only cat ladies send all their money to. But back in that, it was Chicken Little, right? But the thing is, it was Chicken Little, sky is falling over stuff, over values that resonate with people, like, families and daughters who aren't riding the cock carousel and getting pregnant and then aborting it, stuff that's pretty common sense values for a lot of people. But the way that the Chicken Little aspect of it was like, oh my God, they're going to come and they're going to chain the doors of our churches and schools. They're going to take our kids. They're going to come in and force women who are pregnant to have an abortion. They're going to burn our Bibles, so on. So that's the Chicken Little aspect of it. And in those days, in the 70s, the progressive movement was a bit of a good kind of relief. It was like, hey, look, queers are weird, queers are queer, but, hey, live and let live. No, they're not going to take your Bibles. Just, okay, educate your kids in creationism and all that stuff, but at least teach them reading, writing, and arithmetic, stuff like that. So there was the progressive pushback to that was rather sane. So, but the Chicken Little of today is quite different. You have what you're doing, the Chicken Little of today, what you see in this Kavenaugh hearing is that, oh my God, erect penises up male buttholes isn't going to be like the greatest thing you could ever do. Like a woman getting an abortion, that's not going to be seen as the greatest thing ever. Your tatted and pierced, fat, ugly barista at Starbucks isn't like something that your teenage daughter should aspire to and go to college and get in debt $60,000 or $160,000 in women's studies so that they can do that job at Starbucks, right? So it's a difference in values, right? The Chicken Little the sky is falling. So yeah, both sides use it, but in the former case with the right, the religious right primarily, the sky was falling was worrying about really core values that a lot of people identify with, right? I mean, even back then, people who were pro-abortion, or, you know, not pro-abortion, like pro-choice, I guess pro-choice was the word. They weren't like, it wasn't like, oh, abortion is a great thing. It was more seen as like, okay, it's unfortunate and regretful, but, you know, it's her choice ultimately, right? And that's actually more of a freedom thing. It's like, hey, you can do what you want, but it sucks, you know. That's more of a libertarian idea. So, like, let's not make this long. So what? One other thing. Okay, so in terms of the, like, Civil War thing, I'm, like, kind of coming off that deal a bit because of this, and here's why. Is because I see stuff, and I used the term in a post last night. It's like, we've reached rock bottom stupidity. I mean, when you reach rock bottom stupidity, there's only one place you can go from there. And so you know, you have stuff, and even like these people, like Molly Ringwald, you know, that comely, kind of ugly duckling chick from the 80s Brat Pack, or one of those, you know, did the rape, or, you know, did a movie with a rape scene, 16 Candles or something in the 80s. Wasn't very interested. Well, you know, Judd, whatever his name, went for her in Breakfast Club. Are you kidding me? I'd have gone for the chick with the dandruff. Anyway, so she says, it's not the Republican Party to me, it's the rape party. I mean, this kind of rhetoric from people who have celebrity attention signals like such a frenzy and such a rock bottom stupidity that you know, it's astounding, because they don't seem to understand. They're so solipsist. In other words, you know, I'll mansplain it to you. Solipsism is where, you know, only what you think in your own mind is reality, rather than saying, hey, I have a brain, I have sense organs and integrative powers, so I'm going to look around and I'm going to perceive, and integrate reality. I don't get to create it in my own mind. Well, these are all a bunch of reality creators. You know, they have come to the point where only what they perceive, or what they think in their own mind, is what really happens, and they don't understand that there are many, and I'm hearing this from all over, and a lot of people are. I hear this third-handed as well, is that, you know, Democrats that are, you know, kind of more traditional Democrats are saying, like, I don't want anything to do with this. You know, the rape party, like kill all white people, kill all white men, you know, all this stuff. But if you're so solipsist where you think that this is the way of the future, this is the way things are going, it's something. Then there was the General Hospital actress, you know, been on there forever, you know, who said how she screamed gutturally for 2 minutes in her car and then cried, and then a Latino woman walked up and said, I know, right? And it's like that acting and text was so bad it doesn't even rise to the levels of bad daytime soap acting. And you know, it goes on and on and on. I could go on and on and on. But the thing is I'm very, very positive, really, about this. I mean, this thing that just happened was cool because the left, the Democrats, they went all in. They played their whole hand, and they fucking lost to Trump again. So I am predicting that on November 3rd, whenever the midterms are, I think it's not going to be a wake-up call. All they're going to do is say, oh, it's worse than we thought. And they're going to get more frenzied and more out of control. And we're going to laugh more. We're going to have more opportunities to laugh. So let's look at the bright side. Okay, I don't want to keep this too long. I'll do more. If you tell me if you like it, I'll do more. And I'll be a little bit more prepared. I won't be driving in the car and stuff, but I kind of like it. Let me know if you do too. All right. Love you. Bye. Hey, in for a penny, in for a pound. So, third live video of the day. I'm not going to do that often, but I am home now. There's the fireplace behind me. Good setting, right? Backdrop, clever. Anyway, there's one other point I wanted to make. I was worried. I checked Facebook on the road, and my video wasn't there, at least on my thing. But I got home and I looked, and I see, yeah, it's there. I literally, when it wasn't there, I did a video on my phone, and I'm so glad that it came up on Facebook because the one I did, my heart wasn't in it so much the second time, so it sucked. So good thing. Count your lucky stars you didn't get that. Anyway, I wanted to make one simple point about this whole Kavenaugh thing, and that is that it's that everybody's all up in arms, which is essentially replacing Kennedy, a mainstream Republican, kind of middle of the road guy, with a mainstream Republican middle of the road guy. I mean, it's really silly on that level, and it speaks to the ignorance of the leftists and Democrats, that they didn't understand that, right? Trump did nothing outlandish. He replaced one guy with basically probably somewhat of a carbon copy. What will be really fun, so they shot their whole load on that, right? But what will be really, really funny is when, the corpse, I think her name's Ruth Bader Ginsburg, that the corpse retires and Trump replaces her liberal, progressive Democrat. She's pretty clever. I've seen her in some stuff, and I think she's pretty deliberate in her old grandma age. So I don't want to diss her too bad, right? She's an old lady. Have some respect. So he replaces her and maybe one other, deeply liberal, leftist, progressive Democrat with a traditionalist, conservative, Republican, stuff. Now, and what do the Democrats have left? I mean, what? What are they? They're going to have sheep testify yeah, he came out into the field and raped me or something. I don't know what they have left after this. They shot their entire. They doubled down, and the next time it's going to be da-da-da. So when he replaces Democrats with constitutional-minded, traditional, conservative Republicans, what are they going to have? And the shit it's going to be hysterical. That's why I say this is the time to laugh, right? Not the time to be all serious about it. It's laughable. Dismiss it. Laugh. Have a laugh. All right. That's all. All right. I'm being too self-indulgent. All right. I'll talk to you later.